Hello, hello, hello. My name is Ian Mark D. Soto from BSIEA, currently studying in Pamantasan ng Kabuyao, also known as PNC. Today, I will present the evolution of operating system. First, I discuss what is operating system, and then the next is about the early evolution of operating system, and the other topics in my presentation. So, I will go to my presentation, and I will explain all of that. So, today, this is my presentation, Module 5 Operating System. And my first question is, what is operating system? Operating system is a system software that manages computer hardware, software resources, and provides common service for computer programs. What is the function of operating system? An operating system is the most important software that runs on computer. It manages the computer's memory and process, as well as all of its software and hardware. It also allows you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak the computer's language. Without an operating system, a computer is a useless. So, this is the example of operating system. As you can see in these two pictures, there's tons of a example. As you can see, there's a Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 2000, Windows Vista. So today, the main topic of my presentation is the evolution of operating system, the early evolution. As you can see in this presentation, there's a 7
early evolution. So we're gonna go to the first topic, the ENIAC. The ENIAC. The ENIAC was the first general purpose electronic computer. The ENIAC was a revolutionary piece of machinery in its day. It was constructed and operated here at the Moore School of Electrical Engineering. Today, it's difficult to imagine how we could manage without myriad electronic device. The myriad electronic device is that we utilize each day, like we use the computer, smartphone, TV, and other tiny cameras. Hence, as you can see, in medical equipment and device, electronic is the engine driving us forward, and it was here, the University of Pennsylvania, that it all began. The ENIAC contains 17,468 vacuum tubes, along with 70,000 resistors, and then 10,000 capacitors, and 1,500 relays, and 6,000 manual switch, and 5 million soldered joints. It covered 1,800 square feet, equivalent to 167 square meters of a floor space, with 30 tons consume of 160 kilowatts of electrical power. And in this picture, this is the vacuum tubes, and this is the University of Pennsylvania. And then for the next is EDVAC 1949. EDVAC means Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer. EDVAC was one of the earliest electronic computers. It was a binary rather than decimal, and was designed to be a stored program computer. ENIAC inventors is John Macleay and J. Presperk Eckert, proposed the EDVAC construction in August 1944. The EDVAC initial budget of the US is $100K. EDVAC was delivered to the Ballistic Research Laboratory in 1949. Ballistic Research Laboratory became a part of the U.S. Army Research Laboratory in 1952.
Next is EDSAC 1949. EDSAC is the Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator, was an early British computer inspired by John von Neumann. Seminal first draft of a report on the EDVAC, the machine was constructed by Maurice Wilkes and his team at the University of Cambridge Mathematics Laboratory in England. The picture of John von Neumann. And then next is the BINAC 1949. BINAC means Binary Automatic Computer. BINAC was an early electronic computer designed for Northrop Aircraft Company by Irk Macleay Computer Corporation (EMCC) in 1949. Irk and Macleay, though they had started the design of EDVAC at the University of Pennsylvania, chose to leave and start EMC, the first computer company. BINAC was their first product, the first stored program computer in the United States. The BINAC is also sometimes wrongly claimed to be the world's first commercial digital computer, even though it was very limited scope, never fully functional, and always economically unviable. UNIVAC. UNIVAC 1951. UNIVAC means Universal Automatic Computer. Univac was aligned electronic digital stored program computers, starting with the products of Irk Mauchly Computer Corporation, Sir Irk Mauchly again. Later that name was applied to a division of the Remington Rand Company and successor organization. The Binac built by the Irk Computer Corporation was the first general-purpose computer for commercial use. Descendant of the later Univac 1107 continued today as a product of Unisys Company. The last Univac badge computer was produced in 1986. Next is IBM 701, 1952. The IBM 701 electronical data processing machine known as the Defense Calculator while in develop was IBM's first commercial scientific computer and its first series production mainframe computer, which was announced to the public on April 29, 1952. It was invented and developed by J.R. Haddad and based on the IAS machine in Princeton. The IBM 701 was the first computer in the IBM 700 equal to 7000 series, which was responsible for bringing electronic computer to the world and for the IBM dominance in the mainframe computer market during the 1960s and the 1970s that continues today. The series were IBMs. This is the picture of J.R. Haddad. Next is Fortran. Fortran is a computer programming language that is extensively used in the numerical and scientific computing. It still has a strong user base with the scientific programs and is also used in organizations such as weather forecast, financial trading, and engineering simulation. Fortran programs can be highly optimized to run on a high-performance computer, and in general language is suited to producing code where performance is important. And then the next is the operating system, late 1950s. By the late 1950s operating system, where will improve and started supporting following usage. First, it was able to perform single stream batch processing. Second, it could use common standardized input output routines for a device access. And then the third, program transition capabilities to reduce the overhead of starting a new job was added. And then the fourth, error recovery to clean up after a job terminated abnormally was added. And then the last is job control language that allowed user to specify the job definition and the resource requirements were made possible. Operating system in 1960, also called as the second generation. The first operating system was introduced in the early 1950s. It was called GMOS and was created by General Motors of 4 IBM's machine, the 701. Operating system is in the 1950s were called single stream batch processing system because the data was submitted in groups. They were used by professional operators in large computer rooms. Since there was such as high price tag on this machine, only government agencies or a large corporation were able to afford them. Mini computer. Mini computer is a class of smaller computer that was developed in the mid 1960s and sold for much less than mainframe and mid-sized computer from IBM and its direct competitors. And then next is the compatible time-sharing system. The compatible time-sharing system, CTSS, was one of the first time-sharing operating system. It was developed at the MIT Computation Center. Service to MIT user began in the summer of 1963 and was operated until 1973. During part of this time, MIT's influential project, MAC, ran a CTSS service, but the system did not spread beyond these two sites. CTSS was described in a paper presented at 1962 Spring Joint Computer Conference and greatly influenced the design of other early time-sharing systems. And then the last, the Puro's Master Control Program, MCPE. The MCPE is the proprietary operating system of the Boros Small, Medium, and Large System, including the UNC Clear Spot MCP system. MCP was originally written in 1961 in SPOL, Executive System Programming Language. In the 1970s, MCP was converted to NUP, which was better structured, more robust, more secure form of SPOL. The MCPE was a leader in many areas, including the first operating system to manage multiple processor, the first commercial implementation of virtual memory, and the first OS written exclusively in a high-level language. And this is supported OS featured by 1970s. Exactly. There's a 4. Multi-user and multitasking was introduced, number 1. Number 2 is dynamic address translation, hardware, and a virtual machine came into picture. Modular architecture came into existence. Personal interactive system came to existence. And the last, the accomplishment after 1970. There's, as you can see, 18 accomplishments made in 1970. So, thank you for watching my presentation. I hope you like my presentation and goodbye. See ya.